And so it begins. Welcome to the Said What I Said show. I'm your host, Thatbaldbrutha. I appreciate you, first of all, for taking time to roll with a brother. Please don't forget to click that like button at the bottom. It helps the channel out. And also, if you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button. Before we get into the main topic, the point of this show is to share my thoughts on different topics, trending topics, sometimes not so popular topics, and hopefully get your feedback and responses because I would love to have the conversation. With that, let's get into it. There's been quite a bit of stir around the newest iteration of Little Mermaid, where Disney has taken an opportunity to have some black and brown representation in the story. And let me be clear, I am all for representation. And the issue that I have with that is that, to me, it's lazy writing. If you want to have stories where representation is there, write a better story. Don't take a character that's already established to be a certain way and then decide we're going to just change up their color, their gender, and their sexuality just because we want to have representation. It's just a sloppy way of doing things, in my opinion. I think there's enough creative writers out there right now that could take this task on and write a story about a black mermaid doing something similar. Now, there are some TV shows that understand the importance of representation and also understand the importance of maintaining some semblance of continuity in the show so that fans can appreciate what they're trying to accomplish. In this particular situation, I'm going to use NBC's recent iteration of Quantum Leap. Now, when I first looked at this advertisement on TV, I did not like what I saw. I was very apprehensive. And the first thought that came to my mind was, here we go again. We're going to change the race and nationality of the character to somehow conform to some kind of agenda. But then I decided, you know what, I'm going to sit down and watch the first episode and see what they've done so I can really be able to critique. To my amazement, they did what makes the best logical sense. They created a story that is a continuation of the original story. Sam Beckett's character is still Sam Beckett. He's a white man, white scientist. There's no change. What they did do was introduce a new scientist who is now on a mission himself to do the same thing that Sam was trying to accomplish. So see, you have the same storyline, the same beats, the same plot points, and you've added representation and you haven't destroyed the original canon of the story. So that's an example right there of how it can be done. And it is very possible if you make the effort and get writers behind you that can do it. I would like to see more of that from Hollywood versus all of the shifting around that we're having right now, where characters are being black and brown washed in some situations and just changed completely from what they were into something new, some different character now, where we have characters being changed over for the sake of representation only. Now we're going to move into what I like to call my hot take for the day. All right, so now let's get into this conversation. Who wins while we fight? Now, who is we that I'm talking about? I'm talking about black men and women. I would need somebody to show me, please, another platform where there's white men arguing with white women or other races arguing with their women.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
There isn't. Let that sink in for a second. That there's a pretty good amount of platforms and channels and videos that show black people fighting against each other, black men and women at war with each other. You don't see other races doing that to each other. Not as much as we do, anyway. But for some reason, we tend to enjoy the salaciousness of going back and forth with each other. I would rather have black women come up on this program and explain to me their position, because I'm here to understand where you're coming from. I'm not here to judge you, because at the end of the day, we're both works in progress. We both have made mistakes in our lives, and neither one of us, black men or black women, are in a position to judge the other.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And all this talk about divestors and these passport bros, in my opinion, that's a bunch of hurt people that don't know how to take accountability for their mistakes and their actions and refuse to see the need that they need to work on themselves and stop running from their problems. Because going across the fence is your choice. Fantastic. You can date who the hell you want to date. Love comes in all colors, shapes, and sizes and genders. You can do whatever floats your boat. But there's no reason for you to put your foot on the back of black men or black women and say it's their fault collectively as to why you have chosen to abandon your culture and go outside. Own the choice, have agency over your own life, and take accountability. Because guess what? Whether you like it or not, you are the common denominator in all of your relationships. That's right. That's right. And you can run in the Victim Olympics all day. Run the 400-meter dash if you like. Get the gold, bronze, and silver medals while you're there. At the end of the day, it doesn't change the facts. Until you look in the mirror and recognize that you are the reason for the circumstances you're in 9 times out of 10, then you can't begin to fix the problem. See, we're so busy externalizing the issues that we face today because we're just told it can't be us. It's got to be somebody else, right? The world's out to get you, right? You can't really believe that. If you're deluding yourself that way, please get off that. Stop drinking that Kool-Aid. Recognize that you do have agency over your life, and you've always had it. Face the fact that many of us like toxicity. We like toxic relationships. We become codependent on those things because we need drama in our lives to feel like we're doing something. It's crazy to think that there are people out here that don't understand what it means to not be miserable. That they don't feel comfortable. They feel like something's wrong if there's not a problem. And we feed off of that. Take the time to work on becoming the best version of yourself, and then you will find the love you're seeking. Then you'll find what you're looking for. Stop putting your happiness in the arms or hands of someone else because they're not responsible for you. They can't make you happy. They can only add to your happiness. Add to it, not become the source of it. You have to shift your perspective and understand the role you play so that you can do better for yourself. And I know the T word is sacrilege in the Black community. Therapy is something we don't like to discuss. But guess what? A lot of us damn well need it. And as someone who has gone through and continues to go through therapy, I can tell you that has made the monumental difference in my life. Because for a long time, I was very immature, very selfish. I was running triathlons in the Victim Olympics for a great many years. And then I had to look in the mirror finally when someone was able to clean it off and show it to me and open my eyes and force them to stay open so that I could see myself and recognize that I was part of the problem. That's when the healing began. And the same could happen for you if you take the time to do it. But you got to stop laying the blame at everybody else's feet. You got to stop pointing the finger and trying to tell everybody else what to do. Now, on that same note, Black men need to work out and hold each other accountable, and Black women need to do the same. We need to stop with these crazy discussions about how a woman's going to tell a man how to be a man and vice versa. It can't be done. Anything that I tell you to do as a woman is based on my preferences and what I like. I'm not an authority in any shape, way, fashion, or form to tell a woman how to be a woman. How the hell could I possibly do that when I'm not a damn woman? And I have no idea or concept what they go through every goddamn day. So I'm not going to get in that fight. And I would suggest any other Black man that's in that fight to get out of that ring, because you're not going to win that battle in the long run. We need to focus on lifting up each other, making sure that we hold each other accountable, and being the example that we want to see in the world. What are we doing in our communities? How can we get our communities back? We need to take control of ourselves first, get accountability for ourselves, and then pour into the young men coming up so they have some leaders to look towards, mentors to look towards. We don't need a savior. We don't need that. We need maturity and accountability. That's what we need. Now, why am I not addressing the women? As I said a second ago, I'm not in a position to do that. I'm gonna leave that to the black female content creators out here who are killing the game. Y'all know who y'all are. Shout out to y'all for doing a great job. Appreciate that, and please keep up the good work. Now, something else that's going to be hard to believe. We men talk about how we want a traditional woman and we want a woman wrapped in femininity. But in order for that to happen, gentlemen, we have to be able to create a space where these black women can feel comfortable being wrapped in their femininity. That may be hard to hear for a lot of folks out there, and that's fine, but it needs to be said. As leaders in the community, as the men are, we have to set the tone of how the relationships are going to go. So we have to create the environment that will allow women to be okay and be comfortable in their femininity. Now, this isn't to say, black woman, that you can't be independent, you can't do anything on your own, you can't be successful, you can't be out here making your own money. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is, at the end of the day, the man is supposed to be the leader of the home. He's supposed to be the leader of the family. He's supposed to be in that leadership role. And for far too long, in my opinion, black women have been left to run the ship. Now, I'm not judging black men harshly, because there, but before the grace of God go I. I have been married twice and divorced twice. So I know what it means when you're a black man and you don't take the role of leadership in your home and the consequences you have to face because of that. I'm a living example of that. So I'm not preaching to anybody out here. I'm speaking from experience. I'm letting you know this is what it takes to move forward. This is the lessons that I had to learn and the realizations that I had to come to grips with to understand the role that I play and how I dropped the ball on 2 occasions in trying to make something happen and have a family. The important part about all those experiences, while I regret the people that got hurt during those experiences, is the fact that the lessons have been learned and I have been trying to impart that wisdom in my day-to-day going forward. That's what I'm saying, gentlemen. Why can't we just have the conversation where we focus on listening to understand first and be not so quick to respond? That's the problem that I see in the community that we have right now, is that it's too many people talking and no one's listening. Everybody wants to be heard, but no one wants to understand the other person's perspective. See, I welcome the conversation because I want to understand, because in order for me to be a better man, I need to understand where women feel that we have failed. And I would hope that black women will want to understand from our perspective where we believe they have failed. Both of us have room for improvement. Both of us can make changes if we want to make them. Are we ever going to get there? Can we ever get there? Who knows? All right, so that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please drop down in the comments. Let's have the conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts on the topics. Also, make sure you don't forget to click that like button and subscribe button, because we'd love to have you come back to us and appreciate you coming through. Shout out to the team at FPG Studios for their help in creating this broadcast and their support and everything I'm trying to do with this channel. Until next time, remember, change your mindset, change your life. Be well.